Hello, everybody. This is Tom, the Lone Wolf Prepper. It's April 23rd, 2025. I want to do a video today about how you're going to deal with non-preppers during SHTF, especially when they come to your door. How are you going to deal with them? Okay, now, number one thing about a non-prepper, they're a liability to themselves. Okay, obviously, they're not preparing for the future. They think life is going to go on hunky-dory. Okay, so they're not prepping. So they're a liability to themselves. Thing is, you don't need to make that a liability on you, because then you become your worst enemy. Now, people say, well, it's cold-heartedness. Well, when this actually all goes down to it's every man for himself, you're not going to think that then. The mentality you got now is going to go out the door, okay? It's going to be a survival thing. And you will turn people away, especially you're not going to let your kids or your wife starve if you're in a family type of setup. But they chose not to do this. No matter how much preaching you may have given them or they may have heard, they didn't prepare for the future. Why would you take somebody in like that? What are they going to have to offer? They're not even in the right mindset you are. Okay, they just used to always take, or they got it from their neighbor, or they had a job and they went to the grocery store and got it. Everything was convenient. Okay? They're not going to be able to offer you anything except taking your supplies and quite possibly after you've had enough, when you figure out you're being used, then they're going to become violent. It's going to be no different. Think about it this way. If EBT ever goes out and these people that are dependent completely on the government, what are the streets going to look like? It's going to be total chaos. These people, when you have nothing left to lose, you're going to lose it, okay? And they're going to lose it. Now put yourself in an SHTF situation with those type of people. Well, I want to do the Christian thing. There's plenty of verses in the Bible where it says you're supposed to take care of yourself, that your fellow man is not responsible for your basic welfare to survive. Plenty of verses in the Bible that say that. Okay, and if we get in a situation with Noah warning the people what's coming and all laugh at him, so be it. But Noah didn't let nobody in. Was he a cold, heartless human being? No, he was thinking about his family and the survival of this planet. That's another thing. You need to have skills that are going to be useful when this all settles down, we start rebuilding again. Like, what are those people going to be useful for? Sponging off your hard work? Whatever. But, you bring them in, it becomes a liability, especially if you have a family. And you're basically sacrificing your family, okay, because you don't want to feel bad. Well, they should have been thinking of this when they didn't prepare. That's what's coming down the pike this summer, whether it be a race war, a so-called civil partisan war, or World War III. Okay, things are going to get dicey this year. This is definitely going to be the summer of love in a lot of different ways. Okay, but you can't put yourself in danger to be a nice person. And you may think, God, you're a cold, heartless son of a bitch. No, I was in the Marine Corps. Okay, I know how the enemy thinks. They don't care about your feelings. They'll use whatever tactics they can to get over on you, but they don't care about your feelings or your life. So, I'm just warning everybody. It's not cold and heartless to just prep for you and your family and nobody else is in. That's not cold and heartless. Because what's the population? I can't remember. Like 12% are preppers, maybe 15% now. That's 85% of the population that you don't want to even have anything to do with, especially if word gets out that you're being generous with your supplies. Okay, you're going to have the long line when the government truck ain't there to hand food out. It'll be outside your door. Okay, And remember, human beings are going to be your biggest threat during SHTF. Not the animals, not the environment, not that they're not going to be threats in the environment and stuff like that, but people, okay? All you in mags better make sure that everybody's on the same page, because all it takes is one person to disintegrate the whole mag, right? Anyway, that's all I got for now. You prep for yourself and your family. And the ones that, everybody else that didn't care, didn't want to be a good squirrel and collect his nuts, well, endure on your own. Anyway, everybody have a great day. This is Tom, Lone Wolf Prepper. I'm out.